Hey everybody, this is Melina from ScrapbookingwithME.com and Me Crafty Scrapper here on YouTube and Instagram. You'll have to excuse my inky fingers. I'm making quite a few videos today and I did not take time to go to the kitchen and Clorox my hands before I started making this one. Today I wanted to address comments that I've been getting from a few subbies that have never made a junk journal. Either they are timid to try and do one themselves, or they are intimidated by how difficult it may look. I promise you that junk journaling and making a junk journal, a basic junk journal, is so easy. You will wonder why you didn't just go ahead and keep doing it all along and try earlier, because it is super duper easy. Now, I'm going to go over things in this video some other junk journaler on YouTube may have never done before and think that's the craziest thing I've ever seen. This is just the way I do it, and it's easy for me, and I wanted to give my subscribers that have never tried making a junk journal, I wanted to give them a basic tutorial on how to put one together. I'm going to start with just some scrapbook paper. This is a piece of 12 by 12. It doesn't have to be this big, because guess what? We're going to be cutting this down. We're going to cut this down to 8.5 by 11. So that is your basic size of copy paper. Okay, so remember that your basic size for copy paper is 8.5 by 11. That's in US anyway. I'm not sure, it might be A4 in other countries. But if you're doing pattern paper, you can do just regular solid cardstock if you want to. But if you're doing pattern paper, I want my height. So yes, I'm going to cut 8.5, and then 11. So just 1 inch off of my 12-inch piece of cardstock. Okay, so there's the other side of that. It's got some gold foil in it. You can use whatever you would like, though. You don't have to use a pretty piece of paper for your cover, or cardstock for your cover, because you can decorate the covers up later. Then all we're going to do, my voice got caught in my throat somewhere and it wouldn't come out. We're going to fold it over down the middle. That's all we're going to do. Okay, there's our cover right there. That easy. If you have a bone folder, get that creased really good. If you don't have a bone folder, get a heavy book and just go along the edge of it. Okay, so there's our cover. Now what we're going to do is just pick out some papers that we would want to put in there. Now you can just use regular copy paper if you don't have any that's dyed. I just so happen to have some tea stained copy paper, so that's all this is. Tea stained copy paper. I have 1, 2, 3, let's just do 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. I might change my mind in a minute. Okay, so 4 pieces of copy paper. If you have some stained, great. This is just a piece of ledger paper, and you can get ledger books at Walmart. That's all that is. Same size. I'm going to lay that up against that. Then I have some stained, ink dipped, whatever, notebook paper. So those are a little bit smaller. Don't fret. We're going to use smaller pieces other than just our 8.5 by 11 stuff. Then I have this piece of cardstock that is a little bit longer than this, but I'm going to use it like this, and I'm going to show you in a minute how we're going to fix that it's longer. Okay, we're not cutting it off. I'm going to show you. So this is just a cut off piece from a 12 by 12 cardstock pad. And then I've got some just random, this is some vintage ad, and then this is, looks like from a printable, just random pieces. And these are little, so I'm just going to put them down, showing you how I'm going to arrange them in a minute. This is just a brown paper bag. This is about 9.5 by like 6 1/4. So I'm going to put that down. I think I'm going to put that away. I'll show you in a minute what we're going to do with that bag. Using like lunch bags, brown paper bags, in my journals is one of my favorite things to do ever. So if you've got some brown paper lunch bags, get them out and use them in your junk journals. Then I have 2 book pages. I just tore these out of books. This one is dyed, but I mean, it was just torn out of a book, and it was a large book, and this one was a small book. So I'm going to lay those sideways. Now, some people don't like when their print on their book pages go sideways. If you don't like that, then you would need to get pages like this, cut them down to size, and then tape them together in the middle, and then you could use, you know, one-on-one. I love when my book pages are sideways like this. It just gives a little extra interest to my junk journals. So then I have a doily. I'm going to put that down. And then I have this bag that I got from the pharmacy. And I think somebody actually sent this to me from their pharmacy, as a matter of fact. And yep, call your doctor for medical advice about side effects. That's what it says on that bag. But see, we've got an open-ended, just pharmacy bag. These are great to use in your junk journals, especially when they're this cute. I love that vintage print that this pharmacy used. Alright, so when we go through and count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 pieces that we're going to put together to go into that. Figure out which way we want all of this to look in here. So I'm going to fold everything in half. See, I love that look. I'm thinking that I want this in the middle of my signature. That's what this is called when you are making a signature of pages to go into your cover. So let's do that there. And like I said, I'm going to show you how to remedy that it's wider there. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to go ahead and fold up all of this, just folding it in half. That's all we're doing, folding all of our pages in half. More piece of ledger paper. Some more copy paper. I fold all my big ones first. I don't know why, I just do. Fold all of them first, and then I start folding my smaller stuff, or different sized stuff. So maybe have this page as the front of my signature. That's going to be the middle part. So here's my front page that's going to be here when you open this up. Okay, like that. So then I'm going to go through here and figure out what I want next. I think I want this book page next, so I'm going to fold this up and put it there. Let's go ahead, put our notebook page here, and let's go ahead and line up all of our big pieces, and then we can go through and put in our smaller pieces. So when I'm doing notebook paper, I like for the holes to be at the top. I don't know why, I just do. So that's the way I do that. You put your pages in however you would like, as far as what order and situated. Okay, so we've got all these. Then I want to add in this stuff, so I'm going to fold it in half. And on my bags, I'm going to open up both ends. So I'm going to have an opening here, and then I'm going to trim this and have an opening at the bottom also. So then I'll need to fold that again to get it lined up in the middle. Okay, like that. So then when we sew in or stitch in our signature, our spine, that will be a pocket on that side and a pocket on that side. Okay, then let's put our doily here. So I'm just going to fold my doily in half. They have doilies at the Dollar Tree or any dollar store that is close to you. So doilies are very easy to find. Let's see. Here's another bag. Let's not use the other bag yet. Let's get it closer to the middle. Okay, and then here I'm going to use one of these. Fold it in half. Okay, add that there. See, I love that. All your pages don't have to come all the way to the edge. Okay, and then another book page. Let's fold this. And then I like for my book page, when I open up the pages, that you could actually read it, so I wouldn't do it that way because it would be kind of upside down, you know. So that's how I arrange my book pages. And then here, let's do our bag. Let's go ahead and trim off the one end of our bag so that we'll have an opening on both ends. Fold our bag in half. Okay, and then this little page from a printable, it looks like maybe, fold that in half, and then I want to do it like that, and then have it like that. See, that's cute. I like that. So then you're going to tap, 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 and make sure everything's kind of lined up. If anything is bulky or too wavy or something like that, you might want to take it out, but I think we're good. Now, for this middle piece here, what I'm going to do is fold these in. Just going to fold it in so it's way away from the outside here, you know. Fold it in like this, and then fold this one in like this. There we go. And then I will tape these down, and they'll be tucks. So it's going to be stitched or sewn here, and then we'll have a tuck here and a tuck pocket here. So let's go ahead. I'm going to get some double-sided tape. This is score tape. You can use whatever kind of double-sided tape you want. And I'm going to go ahead and do my tape on the top and bottom of this. And take off my backing, fold that over, and there's our little tuck pocket there. I like doing something, a little visual interest, give it a little pizzazz on the inside, the middle part of my signature. So all the rest that's going to be in here is regular paper. This is your only piece of cardstock, so it's really your only bulk other than the bags that we put in. But I love adding bags. Love, love, love adding bags to my journal signatures. Okay, then what you're going to do, one of my most asked questions is how I get everything even out here. Sometimes I don't. It's all up to your preference. If you want it all even, you're going to need to trim some. If you're okay with it sticking out from your cover, then you're good. Now my ledger paper is a little bit taller than what my cover is going to be, so I might go ahead and trim that down. Then see, I've got some overlay out here too. So what you can do is go in and do little shallow pockets, tucks like you did with this, or just trim it off. Now, the easiest way for me to trim is to get a big paper clip and just start whacking. I line it up on my trimmer, and then I just trim off some of the top pieces, and then go back, just hold it in place, trim that off. Okay, so that trimmed off all that would have stuck out off the top. Then, holding everything in place, I'm going to go and put my paper clip on the back side. You can use binder clip, whatever. And then, while everything is still folded, I'm just going to come in here, make sure everything's lined up good. And I'm just going to start trimming off those edges. Just like that. And that's how I even up my pages, and I get them so they're not sticking out of my cover. So then take this off, line it up. So now you can see cover on top, cover on bottom. When you close it up, you just see cover. You don't see the pages in there. Now, from here, you're either going to round your corners and go start inking everything, or you're just going to put your journal together. The easiest way is, let's just put our journal together. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure if there's anything that is directional with wording or anything like that, you're going to make sure it's turned the proper way, or the way that you want it turned. So see, like this bag here, I want this to show on the front side. So I'm going to turn my bag over and fold it back this way, so that part shows on the front side when you open up that signature. Okay, so So then I'm going to get everything lined back up. That's the biggest part of journal making, is just making sure that everything's lined up, and then everything is the right way as far as wording goes, if you're particular about that. So then we're going through, just making sure everything looks good. I'm loving how everything's looking so far. This bag, I'm going to push up just a touch, just so that we can kind of get it in the middle. And then these papers need to come back down. So see, then we've got that in the middle. Then there's our bag, then that, and then look at there. Pretty. I love how everything looks. This page here needs another little trim. So I'm just going to come with my scissors and trim that little extra edge that was there off. Now you're going to get binder clips or big paper clips, whatever, and you're going to put one on one side. You're going to put one on the top and bottom, and then you're going to come over and you're going to do the same thing to the other side, if you've got enough clips. If you don't worry about it. Let's, here, I've got another binder clip. Here, it's not really going to reach that far in there, but the little arms will. Okay, I've got my pages like I like them here. I'm going to make sure everything's upright like it's supposed to be, directional, how it needs to be, lined up, nothing sticking out of the cover. And then I'm going to get those same paper clips and come at my cover and then push the pages in there, okay? So lining up my cover the same way I just did just my pages. There's a binder clip. And then same thing on this side. You're going to line that up there. And then you're going to catch your cover with those clips. So just like that. Okay. So that makes sure that everything is lined up with your cover, and you're lined up in the spine too. Alright, now you do not need any type of stand to put a journal signature together. You don't need a special kind of anything. You don't need a foam platform. If you've got an old catalog, this is an old Echo Park catalog, and you don't even have to open it really. And if you don't mind it getting some holes in it, just find you some type of pokey thing. So this is an awl, and mine looks a lot different than other junk journalers. This one is one that I got from Stamp It Up years and years and years and years ago when I used to sell it. And then some people have an awl that's just sharp on one end and has a wooden handle on the other end. Those feel a lot better than this one does. But if you don't have an awl, you could use a needle, a fat needle if you have one of those. You could use a straight pen if you had one of those. You'll just have to wallow out the hole a little bit more. A nail. You could get a nail from the hardware store or from the toolbox out in the garage. Get a nail, and you can do it like that too. So all I'm going to do is we're going to do the standard 3-hole bookbinding, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball middle, about there maybe, and I'm just going to poke through until I feel lots of resistance. And I'm going to come over here and make sure before I go all the way through that my pokey end is going through the middle spine where I folded my cover. Okay, so just like that, and then back out. And then for this journal, since this piece of cardstock is this height, I'm going to go here and here. If all your pages are the same size, you could afford to go a little higher if you wanted to. But I want this page especially, since it is thicker, to be really sewn in there and not coming out the edges or anything. So I'm just going to go to the top of that, and then I'm going to make sure that my hole is coming through the spine of my journal, and it is. Okay, and then pull it back, and then same thing about there, and then just make sure that it is coming through the middle, and that one's not. So what I'm going to do is hold it back up and force that to go to the middle of the spine, not off to the side. It was wanting to come off over here some. So middle of the spine, force it to go there. Okay, so then you've got your 3 holes and you're ready to get it sewn together. Now I'm using waxed thread, W-A-X-E-D thread. You can use twine, you can use crochet thread, sewing thread. You just need it a little thicker. So I would say if you're going to use sewing thread, you'd need to do about four lengths of it all together and do that. So I would probably use some kind of hemp twine or some type of thicker crochet thread, but this is what I'm using, a waxed thread. So I'm going to go 3 lengths, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to cut that thread, and I have a blunt ended needle, so it's a little thicker needle than what a regular sewing needle is, and it has a huge eye on it, so it's easy to get some thicker like crochet thread or this waxed thread through. No knot required when you're doing this, and you're either going to want your tails of your spine binding to be on the inside or the outside. My journals tend to get more wear on the outside, so I like my tails to be on the inside. So I'm going to go through that middle hole all the way out, and it might give you a little bit of resistance, but just keep pulling. And then my tail that's in here, I want it to at least be the length of my page here. Okay, so that's why I'm leaving that much, like that. Then I'm going to pull out that. Okay, then I'm going to go through my bottom hole here. That sounded really nice, didn't it? And pull through. And then I have a little tail on here, so I'm going to pull that through. So see, you have your first binding piece right there. Okay. Then I'm going to go all the way up to my top hole here and go all the way through, and then pull that through and pull that tail through. Need to pull my needle up some on it, don't I? Okay, so then you have your first tail that's the length of your page, and you have a line of binding your thread here. You're going to hold this tail off to this side, and then your little middle string, you're going to pull it over too. And when you go back through this middle hole, you are going to want your thread to come through on the opposite side that this one is of that middle thread. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go back through my middle, and there's my needle there coming up. See? Okay? And I want it to be on the opposite side of that middle thread that's going long ways as this piece is. So this one is on this side of that. So I want this one on that side of that one. Okay? And then I'm going to pull it through and then pull on both ends. Then I'm going to close it up and make sure that I'm pretty tight through there. And it is, but I'm just going to, you know, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Okay, I'm going to take my needle off. I'm going to tie a knot. And then I'm going to tie another knot. And then I'm going to get something. I'm going to use my bone folder, and I'm just going to kind of wear down that knot a little bit. Like that, just so that it doesn't feel the need to come apart. And then just to add a little bit of extra interest, I've seen some YouTubers do this before, and I thought it was very neat how they did that. I'm just going to take off that one binder clip, leave the rest of them on just for right now. I just thought it was really neat what they did, and I thought this one would be cute to do that in too. So just to give a little bit of extra interest, we can trim that off if we think it's too long. We've done that double knot. Now we're going to do one more. Going to tie that piece of lace in there. Okay, and then my wax thread is a little longer on one side than it is the other, but I can still get a bow on there. So I'm going to leave a bow. Now you could just trim that off and not have a bow in the middle if you want to. It's totally up to you. It is your journal. You do with it what you would like. Okay, now you can take off your clips that you've got it on there with. So now you have a little bit of interest. See here, it's got the lace sticking out of the top and the bottom in the middle of your signature. Close it up and you can see that lace there and there. I think that's just a really cute way to add interest to the middle of your signature, your journal. Okay, then you open it up. I'll show you what we've got here. So here's my front cover. There's my inside front cover. And then here are all of my pages. A little bag I can add all kinds of goodies to if I want to. Little dolly. Some more copy paper. I could add a pocket to the back here, or it could just be left for journaling. Cute little easy beginner journal. If you've got some bags, a little bit of scrapbook paper, and some copy paper, you are all set to make and put together your first journal. And I just love that middle. That is so pretty to me. And then you've got your open end of that bag. You could always put a, let's see, do a little pull here in the middle of your bag, like that, with a circle punch. And there's your little pull if you put some journaling cards or something down in there. That's the pull for that. Get them out easily. And there's that other piece of printable paper. And more printable paper and some copy paper in the back side of that doily. The back side of that other bag, do the same thing to it. Put your little pull there on the end. And then you've got your book page, more copy paper, and your back cover. Now, if you want to ink your cover, you can go for it. Do whatever you would like. Add whatever kind of pockets you want to. You can add a straight across pocket here or a secretarial pocket that's just a triangle here. This is the easiest way I have been able to show people how to make their first beginner journal. Now this is a soft cover. If you wanted to do a hard cover journal, you would need to use some chipboard, but this is just a basic beginner journal, and I wanted to show everybody how I would go about putting together a basic beginner journal, and I hope this has given you some ideas. I'm going to go and ink all of my edges of the cover inside and out and give you some still shots at the end. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer all of your questions. And I hope to do a few more things in this journal in future videos. We can do some ideas like different pockets and stuff that we'll want to make sure to remember how to do. We could do that in this journal. So y'all have a great day. I hope you've enjoyed this. See you in the next video. God bless. Bye, y'all.